You're listening to Your Retirement Radio with Kevin Madden.
Now, Kevin, listen, we live in a highly technological world these days. Cars are driving themselves. We have AI. We have ChatGPT. I mean, it's just kind of crazy here, and it continues to evolve. You can even take the latest Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas. Among the top new gadgets for 2025 are TVs with AI technology, a briefcase with built-in TV, and a laptop made from recycled plastics. You know, in the financial world, it's important that a client's retirement plan evolves with them as well. I mean, it's not a set it and forget it thing. It's something you constantly need to keep changing and evolving. So let's talk about the different stages of money and how you help change and evolve with the client.
Actually, very interesting point, Jess. I was just thinking of a situation where I had a client, Betty, in Allentown, Pennsylvania, that I met last year, and she had a few of these guaranteed income sources, you know, these annuities paying her guaranteed income. And I was able to replace those contracts that she had, and she purchased them like 4 years ago, and give her a newer 2024 version that gave her a higher paycheck than when she was receiving from the other one. So because of where the interest rate environment has gone, right, the new product gave her an increase in paycheck. So she was happy as all can be. Imagine some guy comes to your house and says, hey, this guaranteed paycheck you're getting, I'm going to give you a higher paycheck. Here's how it's going to work. And then the next thing you know, a month later, she's getting a higher paycheck in her checkbook. It's things like that that add benefits and help people, you know, have a better retirement going forward. So, you know, we're always looking at avenues. We're always looking at the tools that we have in order to help people, you know, have the best success they can have. You know, there are, you know, alternative type of investments that we have that are giving double-digit returns that we're introducing, you know, in our portfolios to clients, and it's giving them a better rate of return on their money, a much more safer rate of return on their money. So it's all types of things like that, Jess, that we do. And again, it all comes down to communicating with the client, doing reviews with our clients. But it comes down to just having that financial plan that we built early and maintaining it, taking it out of the drawer and looking at it every year and saying, okay, this is what we projected. This is where we are. We're either on track or we're off track. You know, this is how much money you wanted. You know, you maybe took a little bit more, but that's okay because we made better returns type of thing. And it's just about having that conversation with everybody.
You know, NBA Hall of Famer Shaquille O'Neal, he is a prominent member of the Financial Literacy Club out there. He's currently out with a money management podcast called The Break Room. And in one episode, he actually explains his greatest investment.
I used to see this rich guy, really rich, older, 80, old Rolls Royce. And I asked him, I said, how? And he taught me a word I never heard. Yeah, Shaq, you need to invest in an annuity. And I never knew what it was. And I looked it up because I was making so much money from commercials and all, I didn't know what to do with it. And he's like, yeah, all this money you're making, if you put it away, you can invest it and you can start collecting at 50, 60, and 70. So that was my greatest investment.
Well, we're going to talk about his greatest investment, but I want to go back to what he said. I was making so much money, I didn't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
Kevin, are you kidding me? I can only imagine having to say that sentence one day. What a problem to have, Shaq. Well, you know, for those who don't truly understand annuities out there, what are they, Kev, and how can they help somebody's, you know, retirement picture?
When I get this question, and you know, Jess, this is one of the reasons why we do the Facts About Annuities workshop that we do in Lehigh Valley all the time, and we will have dates on our website when we're going to be in the Lehigh Valley area again, but there's a lot of misconceptions with annuities. There are some really good annuity products in the marketplace, and in my opinion, there are also some bad ones that I don't use and I don't like. But here's what you got to realize, Jess. There's only two reasons why someone would buy an annuity. And if you buy an annuity for that reason, you're not going to be disappointed. So the two reasons are this. Either you're looking for guaranteed income, like Shaq just said, at 50, 60, and 70, I think he said. Putting your money in an annuity that pays you income is a home run. It's a great investment. Just like Shaq said, you're not going to be disappointed. The other reason that one person would look at an annuity is because they want to protect their money. They don't want negativity. They don't want downside risk. They want guarantee of the growth on the money, just like you put your money in a CD and you get a fixed guaranteed rate. Those are really the only two reasons why one would buy an annuity. So if you buy one for those reasons, you're not going to be disappointed. If you buy one for the wrong reason, and there are some wrong reasons, and you buy the wrong annuity, you're not going to be happy. You're going to have a bad taste, and you're basically going to follow along with the herd and say that annuities are a bad investment. So in my opinion, there's some decent annuities. There's some good annuities. As long as you buy it for the right reason, you're not going to be disappointed.
Well, and I think the thing with annuities, because they're very popular, but they get a bad rap in the financial world as well. A lot of folks tend to group them all together. They go, oh, all annuities are bad. Well, wait a minute. There's different types of annuities that do
That's
different
right.
types of things, and they fill in the gaps if need be, and everybody's situation is different. That's why when you come in and you sit down with Kevin, you do this retirement roadmap. You're also going to do what we call an annuity x-ray. Let's see where and when and if an annuity is a fit for you. It might be the best thing that's ever happened. It may not be an option for you, but you're never going to know unless you come in and you begin this conversation. Kev, do you agree?
And Jess, we're always going to give you that option. So when we build these retirement roadmaps, I'm going to give you two options. I'm going to show you one without the annuity and say, here's option one. This will work, and it'll work better than what you're doing, and here's the reasons why. And then here's option two. And the option two will have the guarantees, where you're getting a monthly paycheck guaranteed for the rest of your life, and it'll score much better than option one. And I'll present it to you both, and I'll say to you, here's one, here's the benefits, here's two, here's the benefits. Which one do you feel more comfortable with? And just 90% of the people go for the option two because they want the guarantees. I mean, think about it. Retirement planning is all about cash flow. You're looking to create income. You need to have income coming in. Think about just what can you do in this world every day and not spend money? You turn a light switch on in your home, you're spending money. You open the door, let the cold air in. The heat turns on, you're spending money. You have to pay for all this stuff at some point. So you need to have some type of a monthly cash flow coming in so you can either guarantee all of it, some of it, most of it, or you play the speculation game and you say, okay, let me keep investing it. I can do this in the market. And, if the market does well, I can get this. And there's a lot of ifs. There's a lot of what ifs. There's a lot of possibilities. Why not have some of it guaranteed? But again, we give you the option. We build two types of plans, one with, one without. And then, the other, icing on the cake, just as we come in and we say, okay, now here's a third one. It's a tax efficient one, where we can reduce the taxable income coming in, or we can reduce the taxable amount of money going to your heirs in the future.
You may be familiar with the actor Tim Daly. He was on Wings and The Sopranos. Well, he has a newfound respect for caregivers because he was actually one himself.
I was fortunate enough to be able to care for my mom as she was aging. At first, that support was mostly financial, but as she aged, she had to give up a little bit of control over her life, and I helped her with that. It was difficult on both of us because she was coming to grips with the things that she couldn't do anymore, and I was seeing her struggle. She relied on me to be part of her life and gave me a lot of chores to help prove that.
I'll tell you what, whether you end up becoming a caregiver yourself, much like he was for his mother, or you end up hiring help somewhere down the road, it is easily one of the most thankless jobs, the hardest job, an emotional job. It's emotional for everybody involved. I'll tell you what, we do talk a lot on the show about planning for long-term care. It's a sensitive subject. Nobody wants to talk about the inevitable that sometime down the line you're going to need some help. And then, of course, you got to, throw those dollar signs in there, Kevin, right?
Yeah, I mean, knock on wood. I mean, my mom is 84 years old, Jess, and my biggest problem with my mom was we were trying to figure out whether she should have comp and collision still on her car.
Oh wow, good for her. That's great.
I mean, I'm blessed, so I do feel bad because I do have friends and I know people that have gone through the same exact thing where they're caring for their mom, or they're paying to have care for their mom, or they're dwindling the estate in order to make sure mom is comfortable. So again, we do plan for that stuff when we build these retirement roadmaps. There's some great products in the marketplace that can add extra cash flow in the event that something happens to a person where they do need extra cash for either to go somewhere in a facility and have care, or to have someone come into the home and have care. So refer them to an elder care attorney that we deal with that can help them remove money out of the estate, remove assets out of the estate. So again, we attack that. We make sure that that's something we want to talk about. We start talking about it. And again, like anything in life, just when you plan for something, if it does come and does happen, it's easier to deal with than not planning for it. It's the surprise and the unpreparedness that really takes a toll on people and on an estate and on, finances.
Kevin, we know that the 401ks, I mean, really, they're the most popular retirement account out there. 9 times out of 10, folks have them. That's what they use. But there's a survey by TD Ameritrade that found that only 27% know how much they're paying in fees. The smaller the plan, the larger the fee, which can exceed 2%. Now, 2% doesn't sound big, folks, but start adding up everything that you're contributing. It starts adding up real fast here. The cost can be up to the tens of thousands of dollars over time. How do you help folks identify these fees, and is there any way around it?
Yeah, I mean, just 2%, it doesn't sound like a lot, but multiply that over 10, 15, 20 years. It becomes a lot of money, right? So we do have a software. We do have a program that we can do a fee analysis on a 401k plan to see exactly how much you are paying. But there's also other benefits to taking the money and investing it into an IRA as opposed to leaving it in the 401k plan. The main thing, Jess, is now you have access to all the financial tools in the marketplace, whereas in the 401k, you're only allowed to use the funds, the instruments that are presented to you in that plan. So they might not be the best funds. They might not be the best strategies. And you want the best of the best. So, if you're over 59 and a half, most 401k plans now allow you to take a portion or all of the money out of the plan and allow you to self-administer it in an IRA account. And it gives you a wider variety of investments for you to choose. And then you still contribute to the 401k. They still match. You're not abandoning the program. You're just taking out the bulk of it and investing in it more efficiently in better, more, in my opinion, better strategies than what are available in the program. So we do that all the time. But again, we have a software. We can, do the analysis. We can show you, what you're paying. We can show you, the returns that you're getting. We can show you the history of the funds. We can show you the maximum downturn that the funds, have. A 401k plan doesn't really have any means of protection. You're going up and down with the market. There's no stop loss. There's no, hey, if I lose 20%, that's all I want to lose. I don't want to go further down type of strategy. It's, hey, you get it all, the ups, and you get all the downs. So there are advantages to looking into moving it and getting out of the 401k plan.
If you are a fan of the comedian Ellen DeGeneres, you may have caught her Netflix special. It's called For Your Approval. I watched it. Thought it was pretty good. And at age 66, she sounds like she is kind of on the struggle bus with this whole, retirement thing.
I've only known myself working for 40 years. That's all I've done is work. So I didn't really have a lot of free time, and I didn't have hobbies. And now there's a lot of free time. So I'm trying to figure out what to do with that. I decided to take up gardening because everybody talks about gardening and how great gardening is. It's not. No. But I find once you put the plants in the ground, you're no longer gardening. You're just waiting, I tell people I grew these strawberries, but at best I was just there when it happened.
I think she's really bringing to light what a lot of people go through. The transition into retirement, as excited as you are to get to that finish line and finish that last day at your 9 to 5, you went to retirement sometimes and you go, okay. And what are we doing now?
Now what do I do, right?
That's where you come in, Kev. How are you going to help us?
You've said it before, Jess. Every day is Saturday and Sunday.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
She had no hobbies. All she knew was work. So it is tough for people. I got to tell you, when COVID hit and we couldn't do anything for, a month and a half or 2 months, whatever the term was, I was going crazy myself. I was like, I'll never retire because I had nothing to do. I didn't know what to do. It can also be unhealthy, Jess. Because a lot of people I know, not a lot of people, but, I hear from some of my clients that, they sit around watching TV and they sit on the couch and they're eating, they gain a little weight, and it's like, you got to get in, you got to stay in that routine when you're retired, right? You got to get up, you got to be motivated, maybe, get up and exercise at least, maybe, pick up golf or pick up tennis or, the big thing now is that pickleball, but you got to stay active. You got to be able to, move the body, keep the body going, keep reading, keep the mind going. But, the other thing, Jess, is all that's going to cost you money too, right? So you go out, you buy a book, you got to make sure you buy the book, or you go to the library and rent it and all that kind of stuff. But you pick up golf, you got to make sure you can afford the fees and all that kind of stuff. So again, having a plan for your finances and having a mental plan and a physical plan for your body in retirement, it all adds up and it makes your retirement that much more special because you're doing things that you want to do, and having the money and the resources and the confidence that you can do all that, it's just a home run. It just takes the weight off of worrying, hey, can I play another round of golf? Or, hey, if I play that round of golf and we go for, beer and a burger after that, that's another $50. I spent this already, now I'm dipping in more, it's just knowing all that stuff. So having that retirement plan will allow you to be confident that you can do all those things in retirement. So, folks, if you're unsure of all this stuff, right, we meet a lot of people in this industry and they have buckets of money laying all over the place.
Find out more at maddenwealth.com.
Kevin Madden is an investment advisor representative of Retirement Wealth Advisors, LLC, an SEC-registered advisor. Madden Wealth Advisors, LLC, RWA, and this station are not affiliated. Exposure to ideas and financial vehicles discussed should not be considered investment advice or recommendation to buy or sell any financial vehicle. This information should not be considered tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult with professionals specialized in fields of tax, legal, accounting, or investments regarding the applicability of this information for their situation. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. Investments will fluctuate and when redeemed may be worth more or less than when originally invested. Insurance and annuities offered through Kevin Madden, New Jersey Insurance License 8934505.
Any comments regarding safe and secure investments and guaranteed income streams refer only to fixed insurance products. They do not refer in any way to securities or investment advisory products. Fixed insurance and annuity product guarantees are subject to the claims paying ability of the issuing company and are not offered by Retirement Wealth Advisors.
Registered investment advisors and investment advisor representatives act as fiduciaries for all of our investment management clients. We have an obligation to act in the best interest of our clients and to make full disclosure of any conflicts of interest. Please refer to our firm brochure, the ADV 2A, page 4, for additional information.